and continued strength in audio-video engineering. We have a great origin story filled with hard work and proven ability and a rich history, but we're not living in the past. We're building modern skills for today's economy with the same high standards that built the original school. Here's the big difference between GSE and most schools. Many graduates receive degrees and certifications but struggle on day one at their jobs. This costs companies time and money and can cost graduates opportunities. At GSE, we train differently. Our mission is simple. When you finish here, you are day one ready, not just having watched videos or read chapters. You can walk in on day one and actually perform. That's rare, valuable, and what makes your time here worth it. We believe in excellence, and we do not believe in selling paper. You don't come to GSE to buy a certification. You earn skills, confidence, and competence. The goal isn't to look qualified, it's to be qualified. Whether you're an entrepreneur, leveling up for a better job, or seeking to become more efficient and valuable, GSE is built for you. This school is about real-world outcomes. We don't just teach content, we train capability. Now, let's talk about where you are right now. Starting something new is exciting but can feel intimidating. New systems, new expectations, new skills. If you've been disappointed by education before, you might wonder, is this going to be different? Yes. This isn't just information, it's transformation through skill. You're about to build things, learn how systems work, and develop the competence that makes employers take you seriously. And makes you take yourself seriously. You didn't choose a place that's playing games. You chose a place built on excellence, legacy, and the future. So again, welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence. We're honored you're here. Take your time, learn the system, ask questions, do the work, and most importantly, believe again. With the right training, the right standard, and the right support, you're going to look back and realize this was the moment. You stopped hoping for change and started building it. Welcome to GSE, where excellence begins. Welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence, or GSE. If this is your first time here, I want to say two things right away. First, you're in the right place. Second, you're not just joining a class, you're joining a legacy. GSE has been delivering high-quality education for over 20 years, and our story didn't start in a classroom. It started in the real world, where deadlines are real, standards are high, and results are what matter. Our origins began as Nomega Film and Audio, rooted in the audio and video space, working in film production, commercial work, audio engineering, and scoring. We filmed TV commercials and engineered projects tied to major industry workflows, producing, recording, editing, mixing, and delivering professional results. This wasn't theory, it was work where excellence is essential. That's the DNA of GSE. From early on, we weren't just producing, we were teaching. We taught Virginia Commonwealth University students and partnered with the Entertainment Career Connections Institute to teach their Richmond students. Our school originally grew in Richmond, Virginia, focusing on audio and video engineering, training students to not just know about production, but to actually do it. In 2025, we officially transitioned to the Griffin School of Excellence, expanding our programs to fit the future. AI for business, food truck entrepreneurship, coding and development in Python, and continued strength in audio-video engineering. We have a great origin story filled with hard work and proven ability and a rich history, but we're not living in the past. We're building modern skills for today's economy with the same high standards that built the original school. Here's the big difference between GSE and most schools. Many graduates receive degrees and certifications but struggle on day one at their jobs. This costs companies time and money and can cost graduates opportunities. At GSE, we train differently. Our mission is simple. When you finish here, you are day one ready, not just having watched videos or read chapters. You can walk in on day one and actually perform. That's rare, valuable, and what makes your time here worth it. We believe in excellence, and we do not believe in selling paper. You don't come to GSE to buy a certification. You earn skills, confidence, and competence. The goal isn't to look qualified, it's to be qualified. Whether you're an entrepreneur, leveling up for a better job, or seeking to become more efficient and valuable, GSE is built for you. This school is about real-world outcomes. We don't just teach content, we train capability. Now, let's talk about where you are right now. Starting something new is exciting but can feel intimidating. New systems, new expectations, new skills. If you've been disappointed by education before, you might wonder, is this going to be different? Yes. This isn't just information, it's transformation through skill. You're about to build things, learn how systems work, and develop the competence that makes employers take you seriously and makes you take yourself seriously. You didn't choose a place that's playing games. You chose a place built on excellence, legacy, and the future. So again, welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence. We're honored you're here. Take your time, learn the system, ask questions, do the work, and most importantly, believe again. With the right training, the right standard, and the right support, you're going to look back and realize this was the moment. You stopped hoping for change and started building it. Welcome to GSE, where excellence begins. Welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence, or GSE. If this is your first time here, I want to say two things right away. First, you're in the right place. Second, you're not just joining a class, you're joining a legacy. GSE has been delivering high-quality education for over 20 years, and our story didn't start in a classroom. It started in the real world, where deadlines are real, standards are high, and results are what matter. Our origins began as Nomega Film and Audio, rooted in the audio and video space, working in film production, commercial work, audio engineering, and scoring. We filmed TV commercials and engineered projects tied to major industry workflows, producing, recording, editing, mixing, and delivering professional results. This wasn't theory, it was work where excellence is essential. That's the DNA of GSE. From early on, we weren't just producing, we were teaching. We taught Virginia Commonwealth University students and partnered with the Entertainment Career Connections Institute to teach their Richmond students. Our school originally grew in Richmond, Virginia, focusing on audio and video engineering, training students to not just know about production, but to actually do it. In 2025, we officially transitioned to the Griffin School of Excellence, expanding our programs to fit the future. AI for business, food truck entrepreneurship, coding and development in Python, and continued strength in audio-video engineering. We have a great origin story filled with hard work and proven ability and a rich history, but we're not living in the past. We're building modern skills for today's economy with the same high standards that built the original school. Here's the big difference between GSE and most schools. Many graduates receive degrees and certifications but struggle on day one at their jobs. This costs companies time and money and can cost graduates opportunities. At GSE, we train differently. Our mission is simple. When you finish here, you are day one ready, not just having watched videos or read chapters. You can walk in on day one and actually perform. That's rare, valuable, and what makes your time here worth it. We believe in excellence, and we do not believe in selling paper. You don't come to GSE to buy a certification. You earn skills, confidence, and competence. The goal isn't to look qualified, it's to be qualified. Whether you're an entrepreneur, leveling up for a better job, or seeking to become more efficient and valuable, GSE is built for you. This school is about real-world outcomes. We don't just teach content, we train capability. Now, let's talk about where you are right now. Starting something new is exciting but can feel intimidating. New systems, new expectations, new skills. If you've been disappointed by education before, you might wonder, is this going to be different? Yes. This isn't just information, it's transformation through skill. You're about to build things, learn how systems work, and develop the competence that makes employers take you seriously and makes you take yourself seriously. You didn't choose a place that's playing games. You chose a place built on excellence, legacy, and the future. So again, welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence. We're honored you're here. Take your time, learn the system, ask questions, do the work, and most importantly, believe again. With the right training, the right standard, and the right support, you're going to look back and realize this was the moment. You stopped hoping for change and started building it. Welcome to GSE, where excellence begins. Welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence, or GSE. If this is your first time here, I want to say two things right away. First, you're in the right place. Second, you're not just joining a class, you're joining a legacy. GSE has been delivering high-quality education for over 20 years, and our story didn't start in a classroom. It started in the real world, where deadlines are real, standards are high, and results are what matter. Our origins began as Nomega Film and Audio, rooted in the audio and video space, working in film production, commercial work, audio engineering, and scoring. We filmed TV commercials and engineered projects tied to major industry workflows, producing, recording, editing, mixing, and delivering professional results. This wasn't theory, it was work where excellence is essential. That's the DNA of GSE. From early on, we weren't just producing, we were teaching. We taught Virginia Commonwealth University students and partnered with the Entertainment Career Connections Institute to teach their Richmond students. Our school originally grew in Richmond, Virginia, focusing on audio and video engineering, training students to not just know about production, but to actually do it. In 2025, we officially transitioned to the Griffin School of Excellence, expanding our programs to fit the future. AI for business, food truck entrepreneurship, coding and development in Python, and continued strength in audio-video engineering. We have a great origin story filled with hard work and proven ability and a rich history, but we're not living in the past. We're building modern skills for today's economy with the same high standards that built the original school. Here's the big difference between GSE and most schools. Many graduates receive degrees and certifications but struggle on day one at their jobs. This costs companies time and money and can cost graduates opportunities. At GSE, we train differently. Our mission is simple. When you finish here, you are day one ready, not just having watched videos or read chapters. You can walk in on day one and actually perform. That's rare, valuable, and what makes your time here worth it. We believe in excellence, and we do not believe in selling paper. You don't come to GSE to buy a certification. You earn skills, confidence, and competence. The goal isn't to look qualified, it's to be qualified. Whether you're an entrepreneur, leveling up for a better job, or seeking to become more efficient and valuable, GSE is built for you. This school is about real-world outcomes. We don't just teach content, we train capability. Now, let's talk about where you are right now. Starting something new is exciting but can feel intimidating. New systems, new expectations, new skills. If you've been disappointed by education before, you might wonder, is this going to be different? Yes. This isn't just information, it's transformation through skill. You're about to build things, learn how systems work, and develop the competence that makes employers take you seriously. And makes you take yourself seriously. You didn't choose a place that's playing games. You chose a place built on excellence, legacy, and the future. So again, welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence. We're honored you're here. Take your time, learn the system, ask questions, do the work, and most importantly, believe again. With the right training, the right standard, and the right support, you're going to look back and realize this was the moment. You stopped hoping for change and started building it. Welcome to GSE, where excellence begins. Welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence, or GSE. If this is your first time here, I want to say two things right away. First, you're in the right place. Second, you're not just joining a class, you're joining a legacy. GSE has been delivering high-quality education for over 20 years, and our story didn't start in a classroom. It started in the real world, where deadlines are real, standards are high, and results are what matter. Our origins began as Nomega Film and Audio, rooted in the audio and video space, working in film production, commercial work, audio engineering, and scoring. We filmed TV commercials and engineered projects tied to major industry workflows, producing, recording, editing, mixing, and delivering professional results. This wasn't theory, it was work where excellence is essential. That's the DNA of GSE. From early on, we weren't just producing, we were teaching. We taught Virginia Commonwealth University students and partnered with the Entertainment Career Connections Institute to teach their Richmond students. Our school originally grew in Richmond, Virginia, focusing on audio and video engineering, training students to not just know about production, but to actually do it. In 2025, we officially transitioned to the Griffin School of Excellence, expanding our programs to fit the future. AI for business, food truck entrepreneurship, coding and development in Python, and continued strength in audio-video engineering. We have a great origin story filled with hard work and proven ability and a rich history, but we're not living in the past. We're building modern skills for today's economy with the same high standards that built the original school. Here's the big difference between GSE and most schools. Many graduates receive degrees and certifications but struggle on day one at their jobs. This costs companies time and money and can cost graduates opportunities. At GSE, we train differently. Our mission is simple. When you finish here, you are day one ready, not just having watched videos or read chapters. You can walk in on day one and actually perform. That's rare, valuable, and what makes your time here worth it. We believe in excellence, and we do not believe in selling paper. You don't come to GSE to buy a certification. You earn skills, confidence, and competence. The goal isn't to look qualified, it's to be qualified. Whether you're an entrepreneur, leveling up for a better job, or seeking to become more efficient and valuable, GSE is built for you. This school is about real-world outcomes. We don't just teach content, we train capability. Now, let's talk about where...
Good afternoon, everyone. So good to see everyone. You don't know my normal background, and I want to why I get to see normal background. Some of you all have recognized you. Let me show you. See my normal background. Show you back with see. And this is it right here. Me already in here. All right. That my video is good. Is that a little better? I mean, that's a little better. If that's a little bit, y'all already understand some of the you. So this is normal. You as background, but that they're the problem. Does that cannot hear me? You try something here. All right, let's try this. All righty, is this better? Let me know if this is better. Let me know if y'all can hear this better. Is this a better sound for you? Test 1, 2. Let me know if this is working a little better. Test 1, 2. All right, if you can hear me. Okay, someone said that's way better. Much better. Okay, perfect. All righty. So let me start over and explain why. well, I was explaining why my background wasn't the normal typical background. So this is what we're going to have going on today. And you're going to be able to see, this is my office here at the church. And I have my chroma key turned off. And you're going to, you probably was able to tell why I had to turn my chroma key off. And AV engineers, you hopefully you'll know what chroma key is. If you've been using OBS, you'll know what it is. But chroma key is where you can basically put any backdrop over a green screen. My machine allows me to turn my backdrop green, and but the moment I throw the chroma key on, it doesn't just turn the backdrop green, to whatever I want. Since I'm wearing a green shirt, I become part of the picture. So I don't think I have another shirt here I can throw on to hide myself. Let me grab a suit jacket. Hold on. All righty. So we're going to throw a suit jacket on and see if we can. There we go. So if I put on my this suit jacket, then I just tighten it up a little bit. I don't blend in too bad with the background. Okay. So I am part of the background for today. So I guess I can kind of leave the backdrop on. May says, nice office. Thank you. All right. I am part of the office now, since I made the terrible mistake of wearing a green, a green screen. And this kind of ties in to today's lesson, where we're going to be talking about DaVinci. And thank you all for being you're so patient, so wonderfully, wonderfully, amazingly, beautifully patient. We're still dumping everything out of Canvas, and we were trying to bring all of the stuff out of Canvas and put it into Spaces and our online programs and our online modules. So if the online modules haven't updated for you, and since last week, it is because we've been trying to get everything in Canvas into the new platform, since we're switching from Canvas. So the in-person and online will all be on the same platform. And that is a massive task when you're talking about, hundreds of modules, hundreds of exams, hundreds of PDFs and everything else. So moving an entire school from one platform to another is a big, big job. So thank you for your patience. I know early on in the year, we thought Canvas was the solution. So we migrated to Canvas, and it was great for our in-person students, not so great for our online students. So as we're growing and we're getting different students and more students, we're finding that we need a platform that can work for not one platform for online and then another platform for in-person. We need one super platform, if you will, that can handle everybody and track all grades and everything and run everything through. So thank you. We have settled on the platform. We are migrating, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we will have this class, which will be the first class, completed by next week. And we'll have you guys get to be our test subjects. So we will migrate you guys over to the new course modules or what have you not. And fingers crossed, everything works smoothly. And if you guys like it, we like it, then we're going to integrate all of the other courses and classes. And hopefully this will be the final move that we have to make. We didn't expect when we added, the school has been here for like 20 years. This course in particular has been around for 20 years. All of the other courses are brand new as of last November. And we had no idea that we were going to get 40,000 plus responses to, our TikToks, and over 400 people wanting to enroll, and then people out of state, and then other cities asking us to bring GSE to those cities like Austin and Houston. We were not prepared for the excitement the courses and the programs would bring. And we were not prepared for the logistics also that it would bring. Going from one course to multiple courses in multiple locations and multiple platforms. So thank you for bearing with us in this process. We're growing as well as you're growing. So just thank you so much. I truly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you and appreciate you. Okay. So without further ado, can I get a drum roll? We're going to be hopping back into DaVinci. All right. So for our online folks, this is going to be your first look. For our in-person folks, you've already done projects. So this is great. So we're going to dive in, and I'm going to try to teach you some really, really cool things in DaVinci, one of which being, hey, maybe we'll do some green screen stuff. Just make sure you're not wearing green in the process, because then you become part of the background, right? So you want to make sure you're not wearing green in the process. So there's some projects here. So let me switch over to our screen, and I want you to see this. Because then you become part of the background, right? Here. So I have you want to make sure you're not wearing green and over the process. So you can see that. So there's some projects here. Adjusting and moving up. So let me switch over to our screen camera, and I want you to see this camera, because then you become part of the background you're seeing on your screen. You want to make sure you're not wearing green and over the process. So you can see that. So there. Here, adjusting and moving up. Okay. So let me switch over to our screen camera, and I want. Alrighty. So that probably sounded like a jumble to you, because you were hearing the audio from the screen as well, I think. So did you guys hear two voices, or you just heard my normal one voice? I don't see anyone complaining, so maybe I only heard my one voice coming through here. I heard two voices. But if you just heard one voice, just go ahead and type in one voice, one voice, one voice. If you only heard one voice, type in one voice. If you heard multiple voices, type in multiple voices. Okay, you guys only heard the one voice. All right. All right, so I want to explain the dual voices then. So, okay, so there we go. So some folks heard the two voices. Alrighty, so some folks said they just heard the one voice. Some folks said they heard the two voices. So when I switch from this screen, which is just the audio you're hearing right now, and then I switched over to this screen is a screen capture. So when we're in Pro Tools, it captures the audio from the computer, and it's capturing the audio from my microphone. So now I pulled up a little OBS behind the scenes here, in which now you're capturing the OBS audio and my microphone audio, which gave you that dual. So I went ahead and muted the screen. You don't need to be able to hear that right now. And now I'm just going to talk to you about OBS. And I'm going to turn this camera off. I was telling you the difference between this camera. So we've got two cameras running, this camera and this camera. I'm going to turn this camera off. Goodbye. All right. And the camera you're seeing right now is actually what controls the green screen effect. So if you were to open OBS, so I'm gonna give you guys a shot behind the camera here, because this is audio video engineering. So, and OBS is one of the products that we're learning. Okay, so I'm gonna take this off the screen temporarily. Alrighty. So for those, if you don't have OBS already, make sure you download OBS. It is a free software, and this is what I see. So this is what I see, and you get the little infinity here because it's recording the screen. But what I see is these are my scenes I can switch between. Right now I'm on a screen capture screen, which has my audio input, which right now is just my MacBook Air. The one that you guys did not like was, for some reason, y'all didn't like this one, which was my microphone. You said it's funny, and it may have sounded funny because the plug-in had crashed. And these are the plugins: noise suppression, compressor limiter. And I don't know if that made it sound any better, but you have it. Okay. Now, I know y'all don't like that, so we're going to switch back to just my MacBook Air here. All right. And you can hear how it sounds without any plugins. You probably now can hear my air conditioner running. You could, but when I hit the noise suppression, you probably can't hear my air conditioner running anymore. I throw on my compressor and limiters, and now it should sound louder, stronger, the whole 9 yards. Okay. And we're going to get to DaVinci in a minute. So just showing you this behind the scenes OBS setup, because we're going to play with OBS as part of this course with live streaming and recording and being able to do video podcasts. So get used to seeing this. Okay. But before we get into live streaming, we're going to play a little bit with, okay, yeah, much better. So I was showing you how the difference for the parts you couldn't hear. I was switching between just my built-in microphone here and switching between this external microphone, which normally should work great. And I bet if I maybe unplugged it and plugged it back in here, it probably would work great. So let me turn my camera back on. And this is the device you guys all have, right? And I just unplugged it from another computer and plugged it in here. So it may not be too happy with the driver. And if that happens, you just unplug it, plug it back in. And now we're going to try it again. You guys get to troubleshoot with me. So now I'm going to come back over. All right. So how does that sound? Is that any better? Let me know how that sounds. So all I did was take the device and I just unplugged the cord out of it and then plugged it right back in. I don't know if that makes it sound any better at all, or if it still sounds crazy. Worse. Okay. All right, we're going to use this MacBook Air. So most likely a driver crashed. So I've been unplugging and plugging as I was preparing different interfaces, have 3 different interfaces, and unplugging and plugging them. And sometimes when you do that, you can crash the driver. The driver is the software that makes the interface work. So unplugging multiple different interfaces and back and forth right behind each other can crash the driver. And that's probably what I did. So I would have to restart the machine. And then when I restarted the machine, it would update the driver and the issue would be fixed. Okay. All right. So just restarting the machine with the machine plugged in would fix that. Okay. All right. But right now we can just use the onboard MacBook Air microphone. So when you're live streaming, that's kind of some of the stuff that you deal with. Also, and I showed you hit filters and you get to play with the different filters. I use noise suppression often because even though my air conditioner is playing, there could be some random noise in the background. The minute I turn on noise suppression, it goes away. Compressor. Know how we talked about compressor with Pro Tools? Type Pro Tools in the chat. Type Pro Tools in the chat. Same thing happens here. We have ratios. So for every 3 decibels of gain in, this is a 3-to-1 ratio. You can't see you can barely see the :1 here. But so every 3.5 decibels in, 1 comes out. It starts at negative 28 decibels. So let me show you why. Let me show you why. I'm going to turn this compressor off. I'm going to turn this limiter off. My voice is going to go down. Okay. If you look at these levels here, and I don't know if you can see them, but if you look at the levels here, let me see if I can make. Okay. All right. So hopefully you can see. I think I'm going to add some different docs on too. All right, I'm going to add a stats doc in just to, all right. So if you add, you see this different levels here, and I'm adding this stats doc in so you can see when you're live streaming the stats you can see. I can see my CPU usage, how much space I have available, how much memory is being used. My favorite is 60 frames per second, but for stability, I'm using 30 frames. But if I was doing any type of recording, anything where the visual quality mattered, like I'm doing a production, me personally, I'd use 60 frames just because I personally like it. If I'm working with a client, 30 frames is fine. Me personally, I like 60 frame. Movies are shot at 24 frames per second. Okay. Average time it takes to render a frame. Remember, there's no such thing as moving video. The only thing is pictures. So 30 frames per second is 30 pictures every second. So chick, 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 like a picture camera. And if you put enough pictures together, like a flip book, it looks like it's moving. All right, so back to the audio. So you hear my natural audio voice, it is going somewhere with me normally talking around negative 24 decibels. You see it bounces up to about negative 16 decibels here, negative 24 decibels. Hopefully you can see those. If not, I'm calling them out to you. And when you're in Pro Tools, you'll see the same thing. So since I know that my voice is naturally here at negative 24 decibels, I might say, hey, let the compression start here at negative 24 decibels. Or maybe let it start at negative 30 decibels so that I know that it's really kicking in. So let me drop it to negative 30 decibels. Now I know that compression is really going to kick in. The threshold is when the compressor kicks in. So let's kick in at negative 30 decibels, okay? Give me a 3-to-1 ratio. I'm going to turn this gain down to 0. All right. I don't know if y'all can see that. Let me see how much. I'll move my screen here because I think it's cutting off some of the screen. There we go. All righty. So let me come back up here to filter. It was cutting off some of the screen there. All righty. So on this compressor, I'm saying, hey, start at negative 36 threshold. Start at negative 36, or in this case, I want to start at, make sure I'm on the right filter. Make sure I'm on my microphone filter here. I want to, just like Pro Tools, I want to make sure that I'm actually getting the compression volume I want. So I'm start at negative 30, give me a 3-to-1. Now the output gain is set to 0, 6 millisecond attack, which means every 6 milliseconds attack that audio wave, which in this case is my voice, release after 60 milliseconds. So pull it down, hold it for 60, and then release it. Right now, if I'm constantly talking, it's going to clamp down, and it's basically going to be holding it the whole time, because before it releases, I'm saying something else, and that other 6 milliseconds starts again, right? So it's basically going to hold it until I stop talking, and then it'll start back again. 3 decibels in, 1 decibel out. It's going to start compressing at negative 30, and my output gain right now is just basically at 0 decibels. So what should happen when I hit this compressor level? I want to see your comments. What do you think is going to happen when I turn the compressor on? So right now it's off. What is going to happen the minute I turn the compressor on? I'm going to move this over here so I can see you guys' comments. All right, so what do you guys think is going to happen? Right now, I went to the audio input. That's my microphone. I'm going to filters. So this is affecting the live stream. So things are going to sound worse, better, crazy, because we're literally affecting the live stream. This is the real live stream. You see it's live right here, right? You can see my bit rate, right? No drop frames, which is a good thing. Okay, so what do you guys think is going to happen when I turn my compressor back on? All right, Dr. Horn says sound gets louder. May says sound gets better. All right, what else we thinking? What do we think is going to happen when I turn that compressor back on? The ratio is 3-to-1. So for every 3 decibels of audio that comes in, 1 decibel is going to go out. I'm going to say that again. Ratio is 3-to-1. For every 3 decibels that come in, 1 decibel is going out. Let's say that again. For every 3 decibels that come in, 1 decibel goes out. So what should happen? What should happen when I turn this compressor on? Emily says it should get better. May says it should get better. Dr. Horn says it should get louder. All right, so let's see. Right now, naturally talking, I'm going up to about -18, -18, between -20, -18. So let's see what happens. I turn the compressor on. Now the compressor's on. And I'm still between -24, -18. Let's see if the compressor's working. Test. All right, now let's turn it on. Test. All right, so the compressor is working. It's working. Once it hits -30, for every 3.5 in, 1 comes out, right? So without the compressor, test. It'll peak. Test. It'll get louder. Turn the compressor on. Still -24 to -18. Test. But now when I scream, it's still between -24 and -18. Did it get louder? Did it get better? All right. May says it compressed. Absolutely. Jonah says it keeps you within a certain limit. That's right. Emily says so it stops it from going to the red. Yes, it does stop it from going to the red. Now, if I pushed it loud enough, I could probably try to get it to go to the red, right? Because this is not a limiter. A limiter, if you go down to a limiter says stop it when it gets to a certain decibel. So a limiter will completely stop it from going past whatever limit you set. A compressor won't stop it from getting into the red. If I can get a signal loud enough, it'll still go to the red. But the further it gets away from -30, so here's -30, right? Where so -30 is somewhere around here. So right now I'm getting a little bit of compression because -30 somewhere around here is just at the top, right? It's everything I say is above -30, so it is compressing a little. But the louder I get and the further I get from -30, the more compression I get. So it's like climbing a mountain. The higher I get, the harder it gets. So the higher I get, the louder I get away from -30, the harder it gets to push higher and higher because I'm getting more and more compression. Not impossible, just harder. Okay. So not a huge signal difference there, right? But what if I was to push my threshold further down? Oh my goodness. So now I got my threshold at -50. So now what happens? Even though my natural voice was between 24 and 18, since I put my threshold at -54, now the further I get from -54, it's harder to climb that mountain up, right? Ding, 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 ding. Price is right. Trying to climb that mountain. Right? It is hard because now at -54, I'm getting 3 decibels. Every 3 decibels of my voice in, I get 1 decibel out. So now this is without the compressor and everything seems to be fine. But then when I turn the compressor on, oh my goodness, it gets slower. It gets quieter, right? It went very, very low. Compressor off. Compressor on. So where I put my threshold matters. When I have my threshold at -30, it's not, my voice is between 24 and 18, -24, -18. Compressor on, it's between -24 and 18. Compressor off is between -24 and 18. So just a light compression, but when I dropped it down to -54, it was very hard to hear, right? Because that means my threshold is going to kick in a lot sooner, a lot earlier, right? A lot sooner, a lot earlier, and it's going to compress it earlier, which means the further I get away from -54, the harder it gets to climb the mountain of sound here, the harder it gets to get to 0 decibels, which is max before clipping. You're in the negative and climbing to 0, right? So that compressor kicks in, it becomes very, very difficult. So now if I put my compressor, say at negative 13 or negative 11, guess what happens? It may never kick in. If my voice stays between negative 24 and negative 18, I never get to negative 11, and the compressor never kicks on. So I'm here, but my compressor just never kicks on. It's not until I try to yell that my compressor will actually ever kick on. So if I just have my normal speaking volume, it doesn't really matter. It's not really making that big of a difference, right? Not really making that big of a difference. So the sweet spot, I got to find the sweet spot where my compressor threshold's not so high that it never kicks on, and that is not so low that it kicks on and compresses everything too harshly, right? So normally what I like to do for live stream compression, which is different than recording Studio Pro Tools compression, where I want to compress hard. For live stream compression, I don't want to really compress as hard, right? I don't want to really compress as hard. So I find where my voice is, negative 24, negative 18, and I go just below that, like negative 30, and that's where my compression is. And I put it in a ratio like 3 to 5. Now, if I have a ratio of like 1, 1 in, 1 out, it's not compressing at all, right? 1 in, 1 out, it's not really compressing at all. 2 in, or 2.5 in, 1 out, it's doing a little compression. If I do 32 or infinity, now it's almost acting as a limiter. It's compressing at a ratio so hard that it's almost acting as a limiter at negative 30. So I can turn my compressor into a limiter by making the ratio so high that it's impossible to climb a mountain past it. The mountain of audio, if we're saying that this meter is a mountain, I put my compression so high, like at negative 32, it becomes almost impossible to climb past it. So it doesn't matter how loud I get, it's not going to go past negative 30 because my ratio of compression is 32 in, 1 out, which means I'd have to put a guitar amplifier the size of a stadium cranking out to try to even get past it. I'd probably break my microphone before I broke past a 32 to 1 compressor, right? So if I compress too hard, I basically end up making a limiter. I compress too low, it's not compressing at all. So for live stream, we can do 3 to 1, and boom, now it is working really well. It's not a limiter, so I still have some dynamics in the way of fluctuation in volume, which you want. You don't want to turn it into a limiter necessarily, and then there's no dynamics in your voice. So you sound like the clear-eyed guy where, you really don't get any movement. You could be whispering and don't get movement. You can be yelling and don't get movement, and it all just kind of sounds the same. Okay? That's not really what you want. All right. Okay. So also, we have a gain volume here. We have a gain volume here. What does that mean? That means that I can turn this thing up and make it louder, turn it down, make it lower. So this is after it's been compressed and I've compressed, I can turn the volume up and it'll make my volume louder. Now there's a danger to this. If you don't know what you're doing, right, you'll turn this up and you'll go, all right, my compressor's working. The compressor might be working, your compressor might not be working. It has nothing to do with the level of the volume. Has everything to do with if your compressor's on. And then if you're trying to test it, if the compressor is making it sound better or worse, and you just turn the volume up here, what you're going to think is the compressor made it louder, so it sounds better. No, it doesn't necessarily mean it sounds better. It just means it's louder. If I turn the compressor off, you might go, yeah, that compressor sounds really good. It made it louder. It made it wonderful. That compressor is incredible. It really sounds good. But if I put a negative gain on the compressor, guess what happens when I turn it on? I turn the compressor on, and now all of a sudden it's lower. So now, if you don't know what you're doing, you just think, oh, the compressor made it lower. That means it doesn't sound as good. The compressor made it lower. That means it doesn't sound as good. And then when I turn the compressor off, it sounds better. So it sounds better with the compressor off. That's not true. It just means you don't know what you're doing. When testing a compressor, you want it to sound at the same volume so you can hear what the compressor is doing. So let's do that. Type compressor in the chat. Compressor, compressor. So I'm going to turn my compressor on. I know that here my volume is roughly 18 decibels, negative 18 decibels. So I'm going to turn my compressor on and I'm going to try to get it to be roughly negative 18 decibels. That way, when I A/B my whether my compressor sounds good, I'm not going off of volume, because volume is manipulatable. I'm going off of, did it actually make it sound better? So, hey, does it sound better here with the compressor off? Does it sound better here with the compressor on? Right? And I can actually hear what the compressor is doing. All righty. May ask me how much did I adjust. So right now my ratio is at 3-to-1 and my threshold is at negative 30. But once again, this is my settings for my microphone and the room I'm in right now. Your microphone in the room you're in is going to be different than my microphone in the room I'm in. All right, right now I'm just using my laptop's built-in microphone and I'm in my office, which is treated. You might be using a better microphone, like the one that you should be using, the one that's with your interface that I would normally be using had I not swapped them out and crashed my driver. But I'm glad I did, because you get to hear the difference. All right. So don't, people are often, people ask me to come to their churches and the team to come. We were at a church and we set up. That's how we met Miss May and Jonah, who are now students. Y'all go ahead and put some claps and hearts in the chat for them. But people ask, hey, I'm gonna throw some hearts here. There we go. Y'all can see me throwing up some hearts. Y'all throw some hearts up for May and Jonah. All right. So people are asking, I've had tons of engineers ask, well, just give me your settings. Well, that doesn't work, bucko, because your church, people come to our church, and they'll go, your church sounds incredible. Well, it's because we have audio engineers that literally go to the church, right? So, an audio engineer instructor, that's the pastor, right? So, but the way our sound is not going to sound like your sound. You're not going to have the same microphones that we have. Your room shape is going to be smaller or larger, probably larger, right? The equipment you use is going to be different. So don't mimic the settings, because you'll put our settings in that makes our sanctuary sound great and our singers sound great, and you'll put them in your church and they'll sound terrible. So you don't need to learn the settings. You need to learn the principle behind the settings. Why we do a feedback test, which is called ringing out. Why we ring out the microphones. Why we turn the speakers the way we do. Why we place the speakers the way we do. How we EQ the mics. How we EQ the main mix. How we EQ the room in general. So you don't want to learn the settings. You want to learn the principle behind the settings. You want to learn the principle behind the settings. That way you can walk into any church or any amphitheater. We set up the Governor Amphitheater in Virginia for the Governor School. We've done all of this stuff. We've traveled and people have asked us. We've worked with different mega music corporations, mixing and recording. So you don't want to learn the settings, because if it was that easy, you wouldn't need an audio engineer or a video engineer. You just load up your sound, copy the settings, and boom. All right. So it doesn't work that way. You can't just learn the settings. You got to learn the principles to why we set those settings, right? And in this case, my natural voice is me just speaking, distance I am away from the mic I'm using, the setup I'm using, about an 18. So then when I come over here to my filter, I can set my compressor to anything below 18. In this case, negative 30, 3 in, 1 out. I want my compressor to have the same volume level, whether it's on or whether it's off. That way I can genuinely hear what the compressor is doing when it's on, and I can hear what the compressor is doing when it's off. And I'm hearing the actual compressor and not just a volume change. Okay. So you guys should have not really heard a volume change, barely, but more so just heard what the compressor was doing. Right. And if I wanted to exaggerate this, I could do -4 like I did before. Now I have it really a hard compressing, and I can raise my gain to, my gain is roughly at the same point. So now I have this really, really hard compression, or really active compression, and I can make my ratio really hard too, right? And now I've done a super, super hard compression, right? And we're live streaming, so it's going to be hard to hear these over the live stream, which also compresses over. So the live streamer is going to also compress it, whether you're using Vimeo, YouTube, whomever you're using, Netflix, Amazon Prime. If you're playing something from a Blu-ray disc or off of your jump drive, it's going to sound and be visually much, much, much to a magnitude more appealing, sound better, be better than streaming, using a streaming service, which is going to compress audio, compress video. But hopefully you can hear a difference. This is a mandatory earbud class, so you should have earbuds in or headphones on so that you can actually hear these differences. If you're not, shame on you, you're not going to be able to hear it. But I have a remarkably high threshold at -52 when my natural voice is at -18. We're using from this distance from the microphone with this software, right? So you're getting an early compression threshold and you're getting a high compression ratio. So this is a remarkably unnatural compression ratio and threshold for a live stream for what we're doing, but hopefully it's being so exaggerated that you can hear what it sounds like with the heavy compression on and what it sounds like with the compression off. Now, this is no compression, guys. This is just no compression at all. This is just me talking. Matter of fact, if I took the noise suppression off, this is just me talking. Now with the noise suppression off, you can hear the air conditioner. You should be able to hear any little noises, any little ruffles I'm making, right? So this is just as raw and as natural as it gets, okay? And then when I turn the compressor on, you'll hear the compressor as well, and you'll hear the same noise in the background, and you'll hear the air conditioner running, and you should be able to hear a difference with this remarkably heavy compression ratio and heavy compression threshold, low threshold, high ratio, right? The volume shouldn't be changing that much. It should be very minimal volume change difference. However, there should be a really, really high compression difference. If you can hear it, let me know I can hear it. Type that in the chat. If you can hear it, say I can hear it. If you can't hear it, be honest. Just say I can't hear it. And it doesn't mean anything's wrong with you. It just means, for one, you're not wearing the proper headphones, or for two, YouTube or whomever you're watching this through, compression ratio is so heavy that it's already heavily compressed and you just can't hear it. Okay. Amberly says she can hear it. Alrighty. Margaret says, I can hear it. Okay. Jonah says, I can hear it. Alrighty. May says, I can hear it. A lot of background noise. Dr. Horn says, I can hear it. All right, so you can hear it. Now, what I want you to describe is what you're hearing. What are you hearing now with the compression on versus what you're hearing now with the compression off? 1, 2, 3, compression is off. 4, 5, 6, compression is off. 1, 2, 3, compression is on. 4, 5, 6, compression is on. What are you hearing the difference? What difference are you hearing with the compression on? What difference are you hearing with the compression off? What difference are you hearing with the compression on? What difference are you hearing with the compression off? You should be hearing, I'll just describe some of the things you should be hearing. You could hear tonal difference, like my voice gets lower or gets higher. You could hear background differences where you get more rustling and ruffling or whatever in the background that you don't normally get. Like when it's off, you might not hear that as well. And then when I turn it on, you might hear it very predominantly. So what are you hearing when it's off that you're not hearing when it's on? And what are you hearing when it's on that you're not hearing when it's off? Dr. Horn says it sounds more amplified. Now that's a good observation. From a decibel standpoint, it's the exact same decibels, roughly negative 18 when it's off, roughly negative 18 when it's off, roughly negative 18 when it's on. So you're not getting a huge decibel difference, but it may give the impression of sounding louder. That's one thing that compressors do. It'll give you the impression that, hey, this is louder, when in reality, it's not. It'll give you the impression that, hey, this is louder, when in reality, it is not. So yes, compression can make it sound louder. Jonah says, I'm hearing more air conditioner, and it kind of sounds like it's pushed together. Great ear, Jonah. Great, wonderful ear, Jonah. Sounds more pushed, like everything is pushed together. John sounds like everything is fighting. Emily says background is louder versus you become clearer and no background noise. Awesome. I love it. Wonderful, 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 wonderful answers. Now I'm going to ask you this again. I'm going to turn on noise suppression. I just turned on noise suppression. And now I want you to tell me the difference. So noise suppression should have cleaned up all of the air conditioning noise and all of that stuff. And now I want you to tell me what you hear. So right now the compressor's on. 1, 2, 3, compressor is on. 4, 5, 6, compressor is on. Now the compressor is off. Tell me what you hear with the compressors off. 1, 2, 3, compressor is off. 4, 5, 6, compressor is off. 1, 2, 3, compressor is off. 4, 5, 6, compressor is off. 1, 2, 3, compressor is on. 4, 5, 6, compressor is on. 1, 2, 3, compressor is on. 4, 5, 6, compressor is on. All right, now tell me, what did you hear difference now? What difference did you hear? What difference did you hear? I put on the noise suppression, so that should have taken out the air conditioner running above my head, you know, in the corner over here, on the wall over here. Should have taken out a lot of that background noise. The peaking, you know, it should, the volume level should sound roughly the same with it on versus with it off. Let me put it, I'm gonna put it over here. Okay. All right, Jonah says, like you're peaking. All right. Jonah says, off is good, right? She prefers the way it sounds when it's off. Because right now I got remarkably heavy, unrealistically, unyieldingly heavy compression on right now to just have you hear what the compression can do. You would never make a compressor this. Every piece of audio you probably will use, you'll add some level of compression, but this is just a really max level of unyielding compression, and I'm doing it so you can hear what a compressor sounds like. All right, your voice sounds muted a little when off. Okay, that's good. Sounds muted a little when off. Probably sounds that compressor is making it sound more in your face, and then turn the compressor off here. And then when the compressor is off, doesn't sound as in your face. Okay, so compressor's off right now. All righty. Like how an object is sharp. That's the only way I can describe it. Jonah, great job. May, wonderful job. Dr. Horn, wonderful job. I love it. You guys are on it. You guys have great ears. Really great ears. I love it. You're going to make amazing audio video engineers. I love it. All righty. Clearer. It says it sounds clearer. All righty. There we go. So you guys, so this is off. This is off. Off. Compressor on. Okay. Now let's make it normal. Okay. We're going to make it normal. So normally we wouldn't have a negative 52. We're going to go to, Amberly says she didn't hear the difference. Do you have your earbuds in, Amberly? All righty. And at a good volume, make sure you have your earbuds in at a good volume or your headphones in at a good volume. If not, you're not going to be able to hear this being compressed through a live stream. Okay. All righty. So now we're going to put it back to normal. All right. Oh, I like it. So I'm gonna drop it back down. So we had our gain. So it was maxing out. Did you guys see that red? You see that red up there? Where it's peaking out, the whole thing was turning red. Pay attention. Listen, listen, listen. Look, now it's all red. It's all red. It's all red. It is pinging out. It is red. Red means it's distorting. It's clipping. It's clipping. It's not doing well. It is unhappy. Why is it clipping? Why was it clipping? I'm gonna tell you why it was clipping. Because I had my ratio at 7.5. and my threshold at -52, which lowered the volume a lot, right? Every 7 decibels in, you get 1 decibel out. So it lowered it by a ratio of 7-to-1. So I had to compensate by inputting, raising the output gain. That's why the output gain is there. When the compressor lowers the volume, you can raise it back to where it was. So you get the compression effect without losing volume. So when I took it from -52 back up to -30, that means the compression kicks on later in the audio stream, later as far as decibel wise, which means there's less to compress. If it's compressing at -52 is down here, it's compressing this whole big stream. But if it's compressing at -30 way up here, it's only compressing this part of the stream. So there's less to compress, which means it's going to be louder. So if that's the case, and I'm doing less compression as far as threshold wise, then I can come here and do less compression as far as decibel wise, then guess what? It's going to make it louder. Alrighty. So now that it's louder, 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 you see that it still went red, even though I'm just talking like I normally would. What if I laugh? Or what if I make some loud sound? Ha 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 ha. You see it still will clip and distort. So how do I get it to not clip and distort? Well, one way is I could just lower my output gain so low that even if I laugh or get loud, there is no way that it's going to clip or distort. Hallelujah. All right, there we go. So even if I get mad and scream, or I get loud and laugh, I've lowered the output volume that even though I'm loud, it won't clip. Okay, that's one way to do it, right? And that's a safe way to do it. That's a good way to do it. But after you do that, what happens if you still want it to be, want to add in a secondary failsafe? Well, the best way to add in a secondary failsafe is to add a limiter. So we've already kind of screamed and made sure that we're good volume-wise. Right? Hello. But what if I wanted to make sure that under no circumstances I will clip? So I've already set my compressor at a good level, clean level. But I want to make sure that I don't clip and distort. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to add a limiter. And I'm going to tell my limiter, hey, at -1, kibosh anything coming through. I turn that limiter on. At -1, kibosh anything coming through. Or I'll do -3 just for good measure, just for example's sake here. So I'm going to say, hey, at -3 limiter is a form of compression that does not allow signal to go past it. So if I set it to -3, this audio signal will never clip because this limiter will never allow it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to crank this thing up as high as I can get it. And you'll never see this entire audio bar go red, which means the signal will never clip. Doesn't mean it won't distort. It just means it'll never clip, which means it won't get past 0 decibels and you begin to lose information. So I want you to pay attention as I raise the output bar of the compressor, which remember, effects go from top down. So the very first thing my voice is getting processed with is this noise suppression. Next thing it's getting hit with is this compressor. Lastly, this limiter. So I'm going up the chain of compressor, because remember, a rock falls down, a microphone falls down. So starting at the top, falling down. So the microphone first hits this suppressor, then the suppression, then the compressor, then the limiter. Okay? Alrighty. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to see if we can make this thing clip. And I want you to tell me what you hear. Tell me what you here. Pay great attention. Here we go. Trying to make it clip, 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 trying to make it clip. Now, normally, I have this output gain at 32 decibels. This thing should be clipping and distorting like nobody's business. This should be a clip fest. This should be high distortion, but for some reason it's not clipping. The reason is because we have this compressor going into the limiter. So technically it cannot clip because the limiter is going to stop it at -3 decibels, which means it'll never get so high that it's clipping inside of the software and it's clipping out to the stream. However, something's got to give. This thing is so loud, has so much energy that it should be clipping, but the limiter will not allow it to clip. So my question to you is, how does this sound? Does this sound good to you? I want to know. How does this sound to you? How does this sound? I want everybody to comment. How does this sound to you? Does it sound natural? Does it sound smooth? Does it sound crisp? Does it sound clean? How does this sound to you? Someone says it sounds echoey. Okay, explain that echo. How does it sound echoey? Amberly says it sounds off. May says no. Jonah says, I don't like this. Right? How does this sound make you feel? Does it make you feel at ease? Does it make you feel anxious? How does this sound make you feel? Think about it for a second. How does this sound make you feel? May says it's not clean and clear. How does it make you feel? So we know it sounds echoey or it just sounds off. John says, I don't like this. I don't like it either, Jonah. May says it's not clean. Jonah says it sounds bass boosted. Bass boosted mean. Emily says it's hurting my ears. But notice, like in a cave. May says like I'm in a cave. Notice that it's not hurting your ears because it's so loud. The limiter won't allow it to get too loud. So it's not hurting your ears because it's too loud. It's not clipping, but it's hurting your ears because it is so heavily compressed. So a limiter is a form of compressor. So what is happening is all of this energy is going in. If we were to take this limiter off, it would be distorting, clipping everywhere. I'm gonna turn the limiter off. And you see this thing is distorting, clipping everywhere. So this is what what it should look like. It should look heavily clipped, heavily distorted, should be red pinging everywhere, should be so bad, not natural. Yeah, that's right, May. But because I put a clipper on it, it looks good, but sounds bad. Let me turn the compressor down. Let me turn the volume down here. Okay, so what did we notice? That should sound normal now. That should sound good and clean. So what did we notice? We put that limiter on. All right, so let me take the limiter off. We put the limiter on as a fail-safe, right? So that if I got too loud, hello, like if I did something like that, all right, like if I did something like that and I got too loud, that the limiter would catch it. So I'm adjusting it. I want the volume to be as high as I can get it without naturally clipping, right? And then I'm gonna throw the limiter on as a safeguard. All right, so what you should be hearing now is normal, natural, should be sounding good, feeling good, right? And now how does this sound to you? And how does this make you feel? Tell me how it sounds to you and how does it make you feel? Because frequencies carry a feeling. Water, if you hear water, it would sound natural and calming, right? But if I was to compress it hard and limit it, that water that has a calming effect would now have an unnerving effect because of how I've mixed it. All right. Emily says, now it's too much vibration. It could blow the speakers out when the limiter is off. That's absolutely right, right? So when I turn that limiter off, but I still had the gain really, really high, what happened? It sounded remarkably clippy, distorting, right? What do we call that in the audio world? You're creating a problem, and you're using plugins, because all of these are plugins, to hide the problem and not fixing the problem. This is due to a lack of understanding of how audio works. You put, a score or music or audio for a movie, like the actors talking, right? You put the audio from actors talking or from a song in the hands of a novice, and they say, hey, I got a clipping problem. Let me just add a limiter. That limiter isn't fixing the problem. It's hiding the problem, right? It's not fixing the problem. It's hiding the problem. You always want to fix the problem, not hide it. If something is too loud or clippy and distorted, don't just throw a limiter on that makes it look like it's right, even though it's wrong. You want to actually dig in there and fix it. I was a corpsman in the Navy Reserves for 13 years, right? And May said, bad in, bad out. That's absolutely right. Yeah, you don't want to band-aid the problem, man, but they're absolutely right, right? So one thing, if somebody had a bullet hole in their leg, you don't want to just stick some gauze in it, wrap it up and say, hey, man, good job, go home. Yeah, you stop the bleeding on the outside, but the person's still bleeding on the inside. You got to fix that leg wound, we got to fix it, not just mask it, right? So it's important that you don't want to fix it. You don't want to mask it. You want to fix it. So how does the audio sound right now, everybody? How does the audio sound right now at this moment? Let me get your feedback. How is it sounding right now at this moment? How does the audio sounding right now at this moment? Does it sound good? Does it sound natural? How's it sounding? Right now, we got a ratio of 3-to-1, threshold -30, attack and release is auto set, output gain is 15 decibels, nothing side chained. Okay, well, we may or may not talk about side chain later. So how does this sound? All right, hopefully it sounds a whole lot better. Okay, all righty, so we kind of went through. And what do they say? I would say good. Okay, good. Natural, not manipulated, Dr. Horn says. There you go. When you do your job really, really well, people don't even notice. I heard someone say that about something before. It's like when you do your job really, really well, a lot of people won't even notice it. And that goes for audio and video. When I make that scene look really, really good, no one's thinking, wow, that's cool camera movement. They're just thinking, wow, that's a good scene. When you frame something up and you shoot it and edit it great, people aren't thinking, oh, that's a great smash cut. That's a great L cut or J cut. What they're thinking is, man, this is just a great movie. But it's just a great TV commercial. I like how the car's revved up, right? They're not talking about your cuts. When you do audio really good, they're not talking about, man, Tom Cruise's audio sounds great. They're just noticing that, man, this sounds good. This scene is good. This movie is good, right? When you do your job really good as an audio video engineer, no one even notices it. Now, if you do it really bad, people instantly notice, man, this live stream sucks. The sound is terrible. The video is terrible. This live sound sucks. The audio is terrible. Why aren't the screens working on the video? This movie sucks. The audio is terrible. You can't even really hear the actors. And that happens in even big budget movies sometimes. I've watched big budget movies and it's hard to hear the actors because the background explosions or the sound is too loud. It wasn't mixed, in my opinion, all that well for that scene. Right? So, when you do your job poorly, it takes people out of the song. Someone's listening to a song and they're jamming, good mix. And they're going, oh, something's off, bad mix, right? When you do your job poorly, people say, hey, man, the sound's not that good, or the video quality is not that good, or the cut, why that cut is confusing. When you do it bad, they notice. When you do it great, they don't notice. The only person that notices good audio video quality is normally another AV engineer. They'll like, hey man, I like the way that scene transition, or I like the way that audio sound. Somebody in the business, they'll notice. But the average person, 99.9999999% of the people watching are listening are average people. And when you do your job well, they'll never notice. And that's a compliment to you. All right. When was the last time you watched a good movie and you wrote an email to Hans Zimmer to tell him how good the score was, right? It's just not happening, right? Not normally. Okay. All right. If you're with me, type in, I'm with you. If you're with me, type in, I'm with you. Jonah says, pronounced, not overkill. Good. May says, sounds better. All right. If you're with me, say you're with me. Let me know that you're still here. You're still with me. If you're with me, say I'm with you. All righty. So now we've learned, we have a dynamic of Pro Tools. Everybody should have a dynamic of Pro Tools, right? And we're going to get back into Pro Tools for mixing and mastering. We're going to come back into OBS, right? We're going to get into DaVinci. So we're going to touch on a little bit of everything. And then we're going to dive deeper. So we're kind of go beginner level of everything, beginner level of OBS, beginner level of Pro Tools, beginner level of DaVinci, intermediate level of Pro Tools, intermediate level of OBS, intermediate level of DaVinci, pro level of Pro Tools, pro level of OBS, pro level of DaVinci. So that's what we're hoping. Pro level of live audio, that whole deal. All right. Margaret says, I'm with you. Jonah says, I'm with you. Dr. Horn says, I'm with you. Jonah says, I'm with you. May says, I'm with you. Awesome. God bless you guys. Okay. We didn't have our motivation. Nobody put in a motivation this morning. I think we just jumped in, right on in. You guys type in your motivations. Don't let me forget that. I'd like to start with a motivational quote, end with the prayer. So, all righty. Jonah says, that man is amazing. Yes, he is. All right. So you guys got to see behind the veil, right? So OBS goes away. Bam. All right. And DaVinci is coming up. So I already clicked on DaVinci. So you click on DaVinci. Boom. And bring DaVinci up. Oh, let me close out of it. I don't think it's happy with me. All right. So let me close out of DaVinci. Ignore. All right. And open it back up. I opened it up and then we went into OBS. I had it rolling in the background. Okay. So it popped up here. All righty. So these are some projects here that I have open. A test I did, Bible study I did called Demonic Doorways, and just some random different projects, okay? Some split screen work from one of our students who I later brought on as my administrator. So 100 families donation videos that I spliced together. So let's do this. So hopefully everybody's downloaded DaVinci Resolve. You can go ahead and open it up at this time. If you haven't, make sure you go download it. There's a free version, a paid version. All you need is the free version. Even for professional work, the free version is more than good enough. Okay, so I'm going to open up DaVinci. And what you'll notice is this project is showing red, red, red. Everything is red. So what does that mean? That means it cannot find that file. You always want to have a file and a backup file. It does allow you to search. So you can say, hey, I need to find my files, right? Find in media pool. So you can search in media pool. You can check out the clip attributes. Right? But what I'm going to do is like, hey man, we need to find this clip. And it'll give you the ability to find the clip. So you can actually search for it normally. All right, image 36067. So if we wanted to, we could come and look specifically for this clip. So you have different drives here. And I could use my different drives to search for that clip to see if it's somewhere on my computer. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just hit my finder, right? And I'm going to just type in IMG underscore 3807, and it's not here, right? So then you know, hey, my clip is disconnected and offline. So this is not my project. This is a student's project. So that's why I don't have these files. But I want you to see what happens if you put your files, accidentally delete a file, reference a file that's not there. This is what you're going to get. Now let's open a project. What do we want to open? Open another project. Okay. Now in this project, this clip is here. It's something that I did. We just downloaded. I was working with a gentleman, downloaded just a video off the internet, and we use Pro Tools to edit it. So I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. So this is just a video off the internet. And then we just use Pro Tools just like we've been using it to edit it. So let me turn my edit it. Screen here on. So let me, so you guys don't hear the double voice here. Hear the double voice here. Hear the double voice here. Alrighty. So I'm working in the back end to make sure that you guys don't hear the software plus the live stream. So when you're dealing with running a live stream, so I'll show you. Alrighty. So I'm working in the back end to. Okay. All right. So let me change some things here. And let me show you what I'm changing. So let me come to OBS. Thank you, man. So I have in OBS, I have screen capture on. What screen capture is, it's capturing everything that is on the screen, that is video and audio. And then I have my microphone here also on. So you'll hear the audio from just this microphone. You'll hear the audio, if I was to turn it on, I have it muted right now, from the screen capture, which is everything that's on the screen, and there'll be a loop back. So what I'm going to come over here, I'm gonna come to my sound, and I'm gonna dump this sound through my interface. So that'll keep the sound from coming just out of the MacBook Air itself. So let me throw these headphones on. Another reason you need headphones, not just for live streams, but in general. So you guys get to see a little bit behind the movie magic here. All right. So now I put on my cream colored earbuds here. All right. Okay. All righty. So how does that audio sound to you guys now? I want to show you why this is important. Let me know how the audio sounds now. Hopefully it sounds pretty good. Going back to OBS, I know we got DaVinci open, but I need to show you this in OBS. There's a button here that says unhide all. If there was any audio here hidden, you'd see it right now. There's these double lines, which just changes whether it's vertical or horizontal. Then there's these options right here. Okay. So here, this has monitor off, monitor only, and monitor and output. So monitor off, monitor off, monitor and output. Okay. So I'm going to turn the screen on. So that's going to turn this audio on right now. If I was to play this audio. All right, you wouldn't be able to hear that at all. So playing that audio, you can't hear it. However, now I've turned this macOS screen capture on. You should be able to hear not just this microphone, but also hear the audio from the screen. So let's see. All righty. All righty, so I'm gonna turn that audio down just a little bit. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna make us a quick movie. And I'm gonna just pull in some random files that I have here. And we're gonna make us a movie. Okay. So I have a boatload of images from our mission trip from last year. And we're going to make us a compilation from that. So I'm going to hit File, New Project. And I'm going to call it RBR 2025. Last year we went to Baton Rouge. We fed folks. We We fed folk, and I just told it to put it on my external hard drive that I have for this kind of stuff. So last year we fed folks, we painted churches, we preached the gospel, we did a lot of really fun and exciting things. And we're going to make a video about it. So all I'm doing is I'm coming over to my external hard drive. So I'll let you see that. So, and you know how to copy a file. So I'm gonna come to where the file is, right? And then I'm just going to find it and just copy it over. Alrighty, so let me. I have a file that I've made with all of those inside of it. Here we go. So now all I'm going to do is just drag those files over. And there you have it. So you see some of them are red. They're either red because they're loading, or they're red because they're, in this case, a picture. And it doesn't understand, it can't read that picture. So some of these pictures it can see. This is my son and a plumber that came with us to Baton Rouge. And it can read that picture. If you look above it, it says it's .heic, one of those high efficiency files that like phones take. But here's another HEIC that it cannot read. Why can it read some and not the other? And I'm going to tell you why. So if you look at this image number, so if you're copying stuff over and you see this, if you look at this image number, this is 7136 is a lady's home, and we helped her redo our attic. And when we do this stuff, we do it all for free. So 713.6, when you come over here, you also see 7136. Why are there two images with the same file? Sometimes when you copy it over, they create like a proxy file. So everything copied over is just the red becomes these proxy files. So everything copied over, but everything 7174 and then 7174. So everything has a proxy file. And there you have it. So let's start working with these files. Okay. And one thing that I want to do is I kind of like to pick a hero file. Now, some of these did not copy. So this 2491, it's a JPEG. It's 2491, 2491.2, 2491.5, 2510, 2509. Okay, so some of these legitimately did not copy. So it looks like the JPEGs and some of the images just did not copy. So let's see. So this is 23672. And you guys will do this. When you have a large file, like a large production, you guys will do this. So, and you'll do this for if you ever work on a movie, if you ever work, I'll do sort by name. You're gonna do this just to make sure all of your files copied over. So let's find 2372. Here, I don't even see a 2372. So So I'm going to take all of these files that did not read up until this point, and I'm just going to remove them. All right. So when I was telling you, you could find the files on your computer, you could do resync media files, and then it'll try to refine those files. But in this case, I think we're good. You can also do import media. So let me show you this. I'm going to remove all of these and show you a different way. I just drag and drop. Right here, you have your media clips. You can right click, import media. And then just find wherever the file is. Open. Select the files and open that way. All right. As you can see, it opens a little bit cleaner than just your typical drag and drop. So none of those red files. All right. So we're going to create a story. Anytime you're building out something, you want to create a story. You want to create a story. You don't want to just, and we'll take a break here shortly, guys. I know some of you probably need to take a restroom break. So maybe at 2 o'clock, we'll take a restroom break. All righty. So say we don't want to just start copy and paste. We want to normally try to make a story first. So let's make a story. Okay. Let's make a story. So I'm gonna just open up something that I can type in. And then we'll just make a story. That way we're not just going in dry with nothing. So I'm just opening up Microsoft Word over here. And we're going to create a document. And we're going to kind of create a fallout, an arc. So we'll call this RBR 2025. And what do we want to start with? We want to start with maybe a voiceover overview that just kind of tells us what's going on. And with that, maybe, some establishing shots, which are just shots that support what we're saying. And then maybe we'll go to, any travel shots to show traveling there, if there's any, work shots, or maybe we'll go to people in need shots, working shots, and then a group shot as a closer. Okay. So maybe these shots exist, maybe they don't. And then logo / tagline. So now we have some kind of blueprint. Open up with maybe some voiceover, then maybe traveling to the location, maybe some people in need, people working to help those people in need. Then at the end, maybe the whole group together, and then a logo tagline, if that exists. The shots may not exist, but it gives us something, at least some type of blueprint. So maybe we'll start with a voiceover and some establishing shots. So we can scrub through the shots. So what does scrub mean? Type scrub in the chat. Scrub, scrub, scrub. Scrub is when you don't add it to the timeline. Adding it to the timeline is literally dragging it and adding it to the timeline. But we're not going to add it to the timeline. We're just going to scrub through it. Which means you just kind of put your mouse over it and just to kind of see what it is. And we can, make this bigger too if we wanted to. And just scrub through some of these shots. You see me working hard. We had been walking door to door, just knocking on people's doors, evangelizing. And somebody we came to had these Cowboys chairs here. And, being a Cowboys fan, I fell in love. So I had told him to take a shot of me in those Cowboy chairs. All right. So that's one of the little kind of New York has the towers. It's kind of this thing that's on the river of Baton Rouge. So maybe we'll start with that, right? And some type of establishing shot. And then maybe we'll go to this. This was a big moment here because there's still kind of a divide in Louisiana between like black churches and white churches. And we was able to bring a white pastor, actually the guy that baptized me, and church where I learned about the Holy Ghost and was filled with this Holy Ghost and speaking in tongues, and bring him back all of these years later to preach in a predominantly black, 100% black church in a black neighborhood. And at first they looked at him like he was a three-headed monster because they're like, what is he doing here? But because they know me and I have credit in that community because my grandmother went to that church and I grew up in that church, little tiny Baptist church. And we've been doing these revivals there for years. They, I didn't tell them I was bringing in a white pastor, but they eventually warmed up to him and he's a good pastor. And I think some barriers were broken down. So that's a good shot. All right. But also remember, we donated this little speaker to this brand new preacher who was actually the grandson of the guy on the right, and who goes out kind of preaching. He holds these big, we call them Christ Fest or Jesus Fest, invites people over, and he just preaches the gospel in his front yard, which is huge. He could fit like 100 people in his yard. He has a big property in his granddaddy's yard. So we donated that to him. So, okay. So maybe these are our opening shots. Maybe we start here with a voiceover, and the cut that just played is just a straight cut from one scene to another. And maybe we want a straight cut, or maybe we don't. Maybe we want some type of transition. Maybe we wanted to, to kind of feel a little bit more than just having a straight cut, right? So maybe we don't want just to cut from one side to the next like that. So come back here down our little edit window here. So what do? We start adding on some transitions. So there's effects up here. Maybe we want a cross dissolve. Cross dissolve is when it fades from one shot to another. See how that's working right there? So we just double click it and it adds it on. So now straight to a nice cross dissolve. Boom. And maybe this was shot vertically on a phone. But my timeline, I don't think it's a vertical timeline. Let me go to project settings. Yeah, but this is in the vertical timeline. It's a 1920 by 1080. So that's a normal widescreen timeline. But that doesn't fill the screen. But what if I wanted to? I can click on here. I can come to inspector. I can start zooming that thing in, right? Until I fill the screen. And now my little vertical shot is now normal shot. And if there's enough resolution, which means if we shot at a high enough resolution, you won't even know that I did that. Now, if I shot on a crappy camera with a low resolution, you're going to be able to tell. Normally, you don't want to take a vertical shot and make it widescreen. What you want to do is shoot widescreen and turn it and just crop it to a vertical shot to maintain resolution. All right, but let's do that here too. Let's just take this. We're going to zoom in. Okay. So look at that. So now we got our shot. Come in here. And maybe now let's get into some action shots. Let's get into some folks doing some stuff, right? Let's get into some people cutting some grass. And let's get into some people because we cut grass while we were there. Let's get into some people cutting some grass. And actually, I think I want a little more detail here. I want the runtime. So all I did just now is I told it I clicked from this little graph here to these dots, which will just give me runtime. You can see some of these shots are 4K, 324 by 432, which means they're going to be a higher resolution than your normal. Most of the shots are 4K, so that's good. And so this is a 1080p timeline, so 4K is higher than 1080p, which means I can scale in and not lose quality. It's a math thing. All right. Since 4K is roughly double that of normal 1080p, I can zoom in by 50% and not lose quality. All right, this is some bulk stuff that we bulk food that we cooked. All right, so here we go. Starting at the beginning. So this will be a voiceover. It'll transition. To the next shot. Now this shot has audio. I'm going to zoom in on this too. So there'll be audio to hear. And I think we have some more shots of people cutting. With audio. And we can add that same cross dissolve. You can click here and add a cross dissolve. So it fades from one shot to another. You can click here and let's maybe do a blur dissolve. We can dip to black or something if we want to do that. So initial image, voiceover, image, go into a video, and we can zoom that in as well. And then we can adjust, because as we zoomed in, it goes top to bottom, so we can adjust the position here. Using the X and Y axis. Alrighty. Everybody likes food. We can show an image of this food. Or we can actually keep, for flow of things, let's keep the images in the beginning and then transition everything else to video. This is some old school crazy effects. No one uses these anymore. They're like iris effects. But here, we'll just use a push effect. I would never use some of these effects, but just for the sake of education, we will use some. That's not actually a bad effect. Okay. So pictures, a few images. What do we say we would do? Where's our little script, guys? What do we do with our script? So we say we give voiceover overview. I think we've done that. Travel shots. There doesn't seem to be any travel shots available. All right, people in need. All right, so I think there's just scrub through and so here's a shot of person in need, and those lawnmower shots could also be considered people in need shots. Because remember, you're telling a story. What you want to do is tell a story. If you just have a bunch of highlight shots, people don't understand the story. Okay. So people in need and then working shots, right? So we got a few people working. We got the painter who's working as a contractor, right? I'm gonna use this because it's a video and not just an image. Videos, for the sake of movie, work way better than images. All right. So then we have that one, but unfortunately, it looks like we're going to have to use some images. I'm gonna show you a cool little thing. Even though these are images, and that means they'll have no audio behind them. So like that has like the chainsaw and all of that. If you go from noise to no noise, it'll sound weird. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna show you what I just did. I took these images. If you notice, if you look over here, nothing is there. But the moment I push these images up, it creates a new video track. So audio tracks are these A's, A1, A2. Video tracks are with the V's. So it creates a V3. So I push these up and I take this video track and I put it behind it. What does that do? Remember, the mic falls from the top down. In this case, the camera falls from the top down. Whatever's on top is what it sees. Whatever's on bottom, it covers up. So I'll still be able to hear the audio of the bottom track, but I'll see the video of the top track. So I can hear it. So I'll be able to see these things, and at the same time, but I'll be able to hear the track underneath. Right. So we're starting to get into what we call L cuts, where you were hearing the audio before we see the video. Okay, I know you guys, I promise you guys I get you a bathroom break. So go ahead, take a few minutes, take 5 minutes, 1:55, be back at 2 o'clock. And we're going to try to wrap up our little video here in the next 20 minutes. Maybe I can get you out a few minutes early. All right, but so far we have opened up DaVinci, created a little overview, no travel shots. So unfortunately, some people in need shots, some working shots. If there's a group shot, we can do then a logo tag shot, and then we'll be done. All right, so go ahead and take 5 minutes. See you back at 2 o'clock to continue. All right, let's take 5 minutes. See you back in a second.
Welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence, or GSE. If this is your first time here, I want to say two things right away. First, you're in the right place. Second, you're not just joining a class, you're joining a legacy. GSE has been delivering high-quality education for over 20 years, and our story didn't start in a classroom. It started in the real world, where deadlines are real, standards are high, and results are what matter. Our origins began as Nomega Film and Audio, rooted in the audio and video space, working in film production, commercial work, audio engineering, and scoring. We filmed TV commercials and engineered projects tied to major industry workflows, producing, recording, editing, mixing, and delivering professional results. This wasn't theory, it was work where excellence is essential. That's the DNA of GSE. From early on, we weren't just producing, we were teaching. We taught Virginia Commonwealth University students and partnered with the Entertainment Career Connections Institute to teach their Richmond students. Our school originally grew in Richmond, Virginia, focusing on audio and video engineering, training students to not just know about production, but to actually do it. In 2025, we officially transitioned to the Griffin School of Excellence, expanding our programs to fit the future. AI for business, food truck entrepreneurship, coding and development in Python, and continued strength in audio-video engineering. We have a great origin story filled with hard work and proven ability and a rich history, but we're not living in the past. We're building modern skills for today's economy with the same high standards that built the original school. Here's the big difference between GSE and most schools. Many graduates receive degrees and certifications but struggle on day one at their jobs. This costs companies time and money and can cost graduates opportunities. At GSE, we train differently. Our mission is simple. When you finish here, you are day one ready, not just having watched videos or read chapters. You can walk in on day one and actually perform. That's rare, valuable, and what makes your time here worth it. We believe in excellence, and we do not believe in selling paper. You don't come to GSE to buy a certification. You earn skills, confidence, and competence. The goal isn't to look qualified, it's to be qualified. Whether you're an entrepreneur, leveling up for a better job, or seeking to become more efficient and valuable, GSE is built for you. This school is about real-world outcomes. We don't just teach content, we train capability. Now, let's talk about where you are right now. Starting something new is exciting but can feel intimidating. New systems, new expectations, new skills. If you've been disappointed by education before, you might wonder, is this going to be different? Yes. This isn't just information, it's transformation through skill. You're about to build things, learn how systems work, and develop the competence that makes employers take you seriously and makes you take yourself seriously. You didn't choose a place that's playing games. You chose a place built on excellence, legacy, and the future. So again, welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence. We're honored you're here. Take your time, learn the system, ask questions, do the work, and most importantly, believe again. With the right training, the right standard, and the right support, you're going to look back and realize this was the moment. You stopped hoping for change and started building it. Welcome to GSE, where excellence begins. Welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence, or GSE. If this is your first time here, I want to say two things right away. First, you're in the right place. Second, you're not just joining a class, you're joining a legacy. GSE has been delivering high-quality education for over 20 years, and our story didn't start in a classroom. It started in the real world, where deadlines are real, standards are high, and results are what matter. Our origins began as Nomega Film and Audio, rooted in the audio and video space, working in film production, commercial work, audio engineering, and scoring. We filmed TV commercials and engineered projects tied to major industry workflows, producing, recording, editing, mixing, and delivering professional results. This wasn't theory, it was work where excellence is essential. That's the DNA of GSE. From early on, we weren't just producing, we were teaching. We taught Virginia Commonwealth University students and partnered with the Entertainment Career Connections Institute to teach their Richmond students. Our school originally grew in Richmond, Virginia, focusing on audio and video engineering, training students to not just know about production, but to actually do it. In 2025, we officially transitioned to the Griffin School of Excellence, expanding our programs to fit the future. AI for business, food truck entrepreneurship, coding and development in Python, and continued strength in audio-video engineering. We have a great origin story filled with hard work and proven ability and a rich history, but we're not living in the past. We're building modern skills for today's economy with the same high standards that built the original school. Here's the big difference between GSE and most schools. Many graduates receive degrees and certifications but struggle on day one at their jobs. This costs companies time and money and can cost graduates opportunities. At GSE, we train differently. Our mission is simple. When you finish here, you are day one ready, not just having watched videos or read chapters. You can walk in on day one and actually perform. That's rare, valuable, and what makes your time here worth it. We believe in excellence, and we do not believe in selling paper. You don't come to GSE to buy a certification. You earn skills, confidence, and competence. The goal isn't to look qualified, it's to be qualified. Whether you're an entrepreneur, leveling up for a better job, or seeking to become more efficient and valuable, GSE is built for you. This school is about real-world outcomes. We don't just teach content capability. Now, let's talk about where you are right now. Starting something new is exciting but can feel intimidating. New systems, new expectations, new skills. If you've been disappointed by education before, you might wonder, is this going to be different? Yes. This isn't just information, it's transformation through skill. You're about to build things, learn how systems work, and develop the competence that makes employers take you seriously. And makes you take yourself seriously. You didn't choose a place that's playing games. You chose a place built on excellence, legacy, and the future. So again, welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence. We're honored you're here. Take your time, learn the system, ask questions, do the work, and most importantly, believe again. With the right training, the right standard, and the right support, you're going to look back and realize this was the moment. You stopped hoping for change and started building it. Welcome to GSE, where excellence begins. Welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence, or GSE. If this is your first time here, I want to say two things right away. First, you're in the right place. Second, you're not just joining a class, you're joining a legacy. GSE has been delivering high-quality education for over 20 years, and our story didn't start in a classroom. It started in the real world, where deadlines are real, standards are high, and results are what matter. Our origins began as Nomega Film and Audio, rooted in the audio and video space, working in film production, commercial work, audio engineering, and scoring. We filmed TV commercials and engineered projects tied to major industry workflows, producing, recording, editing, mixing, and delivering professional results. This wasn't theory, it was work where excellence is essential. That's the DNA of GSE. From early on, we weren't just producing, we were teaching. We taught Virginia Commonwealth University students and partnered with the Entertainment Career Connections Institute to teach their Richmond students. Our school originally grew in Richmond, Virginia, focusing on audio and video engineering, training students to not just know about production, but to actually do it. In 2025, we officially transitioned to the Griffin School of Excellence, expanding our programs to fit the future. AI for business, food truck entrepreneurship, coding and development in Python, and continued strength in audio-video engineering. We have a great origin story filled with hard work and proven ability and a rich history, but we're not living in the past. We're building modern skills for today's economy with the same high standards that built the original school. Here's the big difference between GSE and most schools. Many graduates receive degrees and certifications but struggle on day one at their jobs. This costs companies time and money and can cost graduates opportunities. At GSE, we train differently. Our mission is simple. When you finish here, you are day one ready, not just having watched videos or read chapters. You can walk in on day one and actually perform. That's rare, valuable, and what makes your time here worth it. We believe in excellence, and we do not believe in selling paper. You don't come to GSE to buy a certification. You earn skills, confidence, and competence. The goal isn't to look qualified, it's to be qualified. Whether you're an entrepreneur, leveling up for a better job, or seeking to become more efficient and valuable, GSE is built for you. This school is about real-world outcomes. We don't just teach content, we train capability. Now, let's talk about where you are right now. Starting something new is exciting but can feel intimidating. New systems, new expectations, new skills. If you've been disappointed by education before, you might wonder, is this going to be different? Yes. This isn't just information, it's transformation through skill. You're about to build things, learn how systems work, and develop the competence that makes employers take you seriously. And makes you take yourself seriously. You didn't choose a place that's playing games. You chose a place built on excellence, legacy, and the future. So again, welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence. We're honored you're here. Take your time, learn the system, ask questions, do the work, and most importantly, believe again. With the right training, the right standard, and the right support, you're going to look back and realize this was the moment. You stopped hoping for change and started building it. Welcome to GSE, where excellence begins. Welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence, or GSE. If this is your first time here, I want to say two things right away. First, you're in the right place. Second, you're not just joining a class, you're joining a legacy. GSE has been delivering high-quality education for over 20 years, and our story didn't start in a classroom. It started in the real world, where deadlines...
Alrighty, so we are back. So let me know how that sounds to you. Hopefully that sounds pretty good. Hopefully it sounds really good. Okay, test 1, 2. Test 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Test 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Alrighty. Figured out what was going on in with the interface and the main microphone. So hopefully, let me know how that sounds. Let me know if that sounds about the same or if it sounds a little better. Let me know how that sounds to you. So while you guys were on break, I was here troubleshooting, trying to figure out what was happening there. Alrighty. All right. So, all right. Jonah says it sounds good. Does it sound as good as before? I'm messing with the mic so you hear me jumbling stuff. Now, does it sound as good as before? Does it sound a little bit better? Alrighty. All right, switching to the other one here. Alrighty, so if you're ready to jump back in, just type in, let's do it, let's do it. If you're ready to jump back in, type in, let's do it, let's do it. If you are ready to hop back on in this thing, type in, let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. Alrighty. You guys had a few extra minutes while I was here troubleshooting, trying to figure out what was going on here with the microphone and stuff, but I think we got it rolling. All right. So let's jump back in. Okay. So let's listen to what we got so far. All right. Margaret said, let's do it. Jonah said, let's do it. All right, let's hop out on in and type your name in once you get back, so I know that you're back. Amberly said, let's do it. All right, so we got our voiceover pictures here. So we're just going to be introducing whatever we're doing. We got some cool transitions there. And then we have some audio here.
No. So now, so right here, oh man, this like this, you bring it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, like this. Would you like to do it?
Okay.
Okay. Like that, we get you.
I'm kind of short.
No, you gotta stand over here. Like, if you stand on this side.
Oh, it's because you don't have your hat on.
All right, so this clip in the timeline you could tell would probably go before this clip, but we're going to leave it as it is. I think it's actually we can actually put this clip first in the timeline, followed by this clip of him finishing up, followed by the end result. All right, so let's see.
Pastor Armando with the parent.
And as I look at it, I don't think I like the images, the still images, so we'll just remove those and then just go from the grass cutting straight to the clip of him.
Pastor Armando with the parent and attic. We are in the home of Pastor Johnny's aunt, his childhood home. And man,
Go back down then.
just look what God is doing.
Okay, hold on.
All the way down?
No, just.
Got worship leader Bree, Pastor.
All right, there we go. So that is not my childhood home. So misnarration. But that is one of the earlier members of the church, and my aunt, who was in the community where that church that we were servicing was. Also, we could, if we did not want the narration, we could cut the narration out and do music. But if you're going to have, even if you cut the talking out,
Oh, okay.
Okay, like this.
you'd still want to have like the sounds of the construction,
First home.
all that stuff is going to add in kind of context to the production. Okay. All right. So now where's our little map here? All right. So we did some working shots, maybe a group shots and a logo tagline. All right. So is there any group shots here? Did he get any group shots? Maybe not. We could throw in, maybe the still shot. Okay. These are some young preachers that we brought in and gave them their first opportunity to speak for like 15 minutes. I think that's such a great shot of Xander, my son Xander, in the attic. So maybe we'll just add those in here. Alrighty. And if we want to add in the revival portion of the preaching segment, we can see if there's any video of any of the preaching portions, because we did, I think, 5 nights of revival with different preachers and speakers, but it looks like there's just only pictures. We kind of suck at capturing these moments here, guys. Alrighty. All right, so.
Like this, you bring it.
Oh,
All right, so we'll just pretend that that's the end. Now we've captured everything. We're going to go ahead and add in some more transitions just for good, and I'm just doing truly random transitions here with no thought to the transition at all, just to show you. Oh, I love this brightness flash. So let's roll this brightness flash on all of the rest. So we're just going to drag and drop this brightness flash on these, brightness flash on these, brightness flash on these, brightness flash on those. Okay. And then we'll do something maybe like a fade to black. So we just type in fade. That didn't show. All right, let's type in black. Nope. So I just call it dip to color. Okay, so just dip to color here.
Like that we get like if you stand on this side.
All right. So fade to black, there. And we can zoom this picture in. So I'm just select it. I'm going to zoom it like we did the other ones. It's so cool with him. But I think I kind of like it almost a little bit better doing it this way, where you can actually see how high up he is in the ceiling. Here you can see all of the construction work and stuff going on in the lady's house. All right, we'll do a dip to black, and then we can do some type of generator. So we'll come up here. And we can begin to just add in like text frames. And let's see. And we could start doing speed ramps. We're not going to cover that today. We don't have enough time, but we will cover it in an upcoming class. So if this looks like it's a lot, it's not. All of the stuff here on the left is just your media, your actual files. This stuff here on the bottom left here is just those files, the information on those files. And then the video itself. If you click something, this is called the inspector. So if you click something, you can zoom in, zoom out, crop, all of that stuff from the right side. You also have an audio mixer on the right side, but there's a dedicated thing called Fairlight that we're going to show you in a quick second. Also these transitions here. Like this says dip to color. We could choose the color, choose how it dips, and all of that stuff here. So if we wanted it to dip to red, which we don't, but we could choose that and have it dip to red if we wanted it to. And now it'll dip to red.
I thought we get
I'm kind of short.
you gotta stand over here. Like if you stand on this side.
All right. But we don't. We'll let it dip to black. So let's just undo that. So if it'll let us just undo. So we're going to go back to dip to black. Alrighty. So now what I want to do is I want to add in the logo, and I want to add in some backdrop. And we'll add in some background music really, really quickly. So I'll find a logo just off of my computer somewhere. And it's just some random logo, just for the educational purposes here. Might even be the old church logo. Let's see. Let's see what we got. Oh, that's not the one we want. So let's see.
Can you stand on this side?
All right, so you cannot see it, but that's actually a logo under there. It is a PNG, which means it's just no background, just a black lettering. So if we want it, we could try to find an effect to see if there's an effect that will invert it. So these are the dissolves. You can see if there's just effects. See if there's one that will just invert it. So we can do adjustment. And then use our effects over here. There we go. And then see if we can invert it. But actually, I'm gonna do it an easier way. So we're gonna undo that adjustment layer. I have an easier way. Since the text is black, we're gonna tell it to dip to white. So we're gonna come and find white. Okay, or snow as it calls it. And we're gonna come and create a generator. We want just a single color generator. There we go, solid color. Now remember, video goes from the top. Make this snow. Video goes from the top down. So what it should see when this dips to white is it should see our black text. And we put a solid white color underneath, so we should now see the white the letter. So let's see if that worked.
So we get to,
I'm not sure.
you gotta stand over here. Like, can you stand on this side?
Yep, but we do not. So where is our text? Oh, we deleted it by accident. So let's put it back. There we go. So that'll be our basic edit. We can come in, add some titles, which title is a fancy way of saying text. And the text can be Revive Baton Rouge 2025. You can make this size bigger. I'll just call it Jesus Alive. Here we go. Color size. Color size. You can't really see that against that background. So what we could do is there's something called an adjustment layer. We saw it earlier under generators. What an adjustment layer is, an adjustment layer allows you to change one thing and it changes everything underneath it. I'll give an example. We just added this adjustment layer above these three images. Now, whatever I do to this adjustment layer shows on the images beneath, right? So whatever I do to the adjustment layer happens to everything. So I make the adjustment layer bigger, it makes the images underneath bigger. If I make the adjustment layer brighter, it makes everything underneath brighter. Okay. So I can change just that adjustment layer. And boom, there we go. Perfect. And now let's find some music to throw back here. So I'm gonna just search my computer for some random MP3, y'all. Actually, our church is doing some originals. We got a new original album coming out. So we'll add some original music behind it. So I just literally just dragged and dropped some music. So that's the video. And now we have our levels here. So let's just kind of watch this real quick. See if we like it so far. Let me change this really quickly. Let's try that again. All right, so we're getting a little bit of feedback here. And it might be because we're running this live software, which is eating up a lot of our resources. Or it could be for some other reason. So let's do this. We can find out. I'm going to teach you guys how to troubleshoot. So we're going to see how many resources our computer is actually using here. And it's different than a Mac and a PC. Mac, I think you just Control Alt Delete and you can pull it up. With a PC, excuse me, Control Alt Delete and you can pull it up. With a Mac, it's a tiny bit different. You just go to Activity Monitor. And I can see how much my CPU usage is, my memory usage is, if my disks are fast enough to keep up with it, because it could be a couple different problems. For one, I'm running all of these images and video, and my physical hard disk might not just be fast enough to play all of that stuff at one time, okay? Or I could be having CPU issues, memory issues, or it could be that audio card issue. So you'll run into this stuff in the field, especially if you're working on large projects, and I'll show you how to do it, how to create proxies, or how to troubleshoot and create proxies if you need to. A proxy is something that references your original file, but is not as power intensive or power hungry. So it'll run the file. And a lot of times when movies are edited, they're edited on proxy files and then merge with the original files later. And I'll show you that process in a later video if we need to do that. Okay, so here we go. We're going to play it. And we can see that it's using a lot of memory. All right. So I'm gonna lower this down a little bit. All right, so this seems to be handling well. Memory seems to be handling well. CPU seems to be handling well. Everything seems to be going well. Nothing seems to be glitching or... Raise the volume back up there. Alrighty, so looking pretty good so far, but the music you can see runs past the video. So I'm gonna just take this little tool here, it's a little blade tool, and I'm going to clip it. I'm gonna select it, and then I'm gonna use it to clip right at the end. Go back to my pointer, which is my selector. I'm gonna delete the end, and then here at the top right, you might not be able to see it, but there's a little white ball, little flag. I'm gonna grab it and I'm gonna pull it, and what that does is that starts to fade out. And I'm gonna pull a little white ball in the middle down, and it's gonna create a tapered fade. All right. Another thing here on my second track on A2, which is over here, we know about plugins, right? So there's a little musical note at the bottom. I'm gonna click it, and I'm going to use a heavy compressor. So A2, this is, I'm gonna just call it background sounds. And for background sounds, I am gonna use a stupid heavy compressor, guys, like ridiculously heavy. And the reason I'm going to do this is, because I want to control the volume across all clips, which I could do just by coming back to my little edit window and kind of, I want this one down, maybe lower this one a little bit to look. I can kind of lower them to all kind of look the same. But I wanted it to be at a consistent level in the background. So I'm just coming to the loudest thing, which is the more. We're going to play it.
You gotta stand over here. Like, if you stand on this side.
All right, so that compression helped us out a lot because it brought the levels in. However, our fade of the music was too much. So I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna back it back a little bit. And also, that way it doesn't fade out before they're finished talking. All right, and do a little fade on the voice, not too much. Okay, let's go back to the beginning. Let's see. Make sure that we're saving. You don't want to lose the whole project work and then lose the computer, lose the whole project. So let's go ahead and say that this is what we want. We're going to export it out. We're just going to say that this is perfect. We're going to tell it, we're going to call this R Revive Baton Rouge 2025. We're going to choose a location for our export. I got to drive here for TV drive, exports, save, H.264. We're going to just say all of those settings are great. And then we're going to hit render. And now what it's going to do is it's going to actually render out. So it's going to take it out of this software, right? Because you can't just bring your laptop with DaVinci Resolve everywhere you want to go and just say, hey guys, you want to see this? Here's my laptop, right? So that means you got to get it out of this software. Let me come over here. Which camera are we? This one? All right. So we got to get it out of this software and into a H.64 file that YouTube will understand, projectors will understand, you know, someone can download and play and their computer will understand. That's called rendering. So we're going to render it out or export it. Same thing. We're going to render it or export it out in an H.26 file, which could be MOV, which is QuickTime, could be MP4, which is just a normal format that Windows understands, Mac understands, YouTube understands, right? But we're going to try to get this out as some type of H.264, either MP4 or .mp4 or .mov. And so that's what it's doing now. It's taking, you can see the little timeline going, and it is taking our H.264 file or what have you, and it is rendering it out so that anything could understand it. Okay. So that's what's happening. That's what's happening right now. And it's telling us, hey, in its top right corner, 62% is done. 59 seconds remaining. So in 1 minute, we'll have it all. Alrighty. So this is just kind of a big top-down overview. So for the in-person guys, you've already used this before, and you're going to use it some more. For the online guys and gals, this is going to be your first introduction to DaVinci, and that's fine. That's great. All right. While this is rendering out, I'm going to bring OBS, which is still running. So while that's rendering out, OBS, I was going to try to see if it'll let me make it small, but it won't. All right. So go ahead and drop your questions while this is rendering out. Oh, too late. No questions for you. It just completed. All righty. So it just completed, and I'm going to come back and answer your questions. I'm just joking. All right. So I just find it in my file. So exports, just find it. I'm going to click on it. Just like anything else, it pulls up this right here. And we'll make that big, and then we'll play it and see how it looks. The finished product. Okay. All right, that's our finished product, guys. Awesome. So let me know what you thought. Let me know about your questions. What are you thinking? Any questions? I'm sure you guys have a ton of questions. Go ahead and fire off your questions and let's talk about it. Okay. So on this particular trip, we end up helping, I don't know, dozens of people. We painted, as you can see, we repaired people's attics and entry spaces. We cut folks' lawns. I can't tell you how many folks. Our just a little quick video here doesn't even begin to scratch the surface of how many people we talked to. English, Spanish. The guy there, actually in the left of this video, this clip over here, spoke Spanish, and he was speaking to our interpreter for the Spanish community. So it was pretty awesome trip, really massive trip. I think 5 services. It was just like ridiculous. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday services, feeding folks on Saturday. So really incredible trip. We do that every year. If you'd like to go, let me know. Sign-ups are actually maybe even be on the ebcfaith.com website now. All right. So what questions do you have about DaVinci Resolve, about OBS? What are your questions? DOS questions. Let's take some time just to answer your questions. You can ask about media handling, storage devices, editing, computer speed, you name it. I actually thought for a second the computer was glitching, and it was actually just the sound of the lawnmower. Like, I was like, oh, the computer's messing up. Like, no, it was just a lawnmower from them cutting grass. But that did kind of open up a little opportunity to show about how to pull up your settings and see if your computer is struggling somewhere with RAM, CPU. Also, Blackmagic has a Blackmagic tester that comes with the software, and that's this little thing right here, and it tests the speed of your hard drive and lets you know if it's fast enough. So you can do a speed test here, and this is 8K 12.1, and we could say, hey, test and see if the hard drive is fast enough. Now, mind you, we're live streaming, so we're doing all of these tests while live streaming, which affects the test. But it'll tell you if your hard drive is actually fast enough to run certain codecs at certain qualities. So, I like to shoot at 60 frames per second. And it's saying, hey, if I shoot at Blackmagic RAW, that's what BRAW is here, 12.1, then I can shoot 1080p up to 60 fine. I could shoot 2K up to 60 fine. I could shoot 4K up to 30 fine. But then when I get above 30 and 12.1, I start having problems. Same thing with 8.1 compression ratio, because video has compression ratios just like audio. Blackmagic RAW 5.1, Blackmagic RAW 3.1. All right. And it begins to show me, hey, as we get lower in compression ratings, which means files get larger, that, hey, we can't we can't shoot in 4K or 3K here above 50 and 4K above 30 and 12. above 25 and 8, above 50 and 3. So it begins to tell us how fast of files we can run, record, read, and write, and what their speeds are. So really, really great little tester that comes with the Blackmagic. Alrighty. Type in Blackmagic. You're going to want to type Blackmagic in the comments. You're going to want to download the Blackmagic app for your phones, because that's what we use. Your camera is your phone, and Blackmagic has an app that will allow you to turn your phone into a professional film camera. It's going to allow you to turn your phone into a professional film camera, and so that's what we're going to use. As cameras, your Blackmagic. All right, so go ahead and type Blackmagic in the chat. Amberly typed Blackmagic. May said that was great. Arga said it's great. Amberly says love it. Awesome, 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 awesome. All righty. How does this sound? Does this mic sound better than the mic I was using at the start of class, or does it sound about the same? So this mic, what you're hearing me from now, does it sound better? Do you even remember how it sounded at the beginning of the class? Before the break, when I came back from the break, I switched mics. Does this mic sound better or worse or the same? Give me a little feedback. Does this mic sound better, worse, or the same? So better, worse, or the same. Just for reference, let me let you hear how the other one sounded. Okay. So this is the built-in ear mic. So this is the original mic. So this is the original mic that I was using. It's just a built-in mic from the computer. And this is the dynamic mic plugged into the interface that all of us bought, right? The whole class. I think we bought the same interface, so we're all using the same stuff here. All right, everybody says it sounds better, sounds better, sounds better, 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 better. All righty. All right, anyone has a prayer before we close out? I know we covered a lot, OBS, some DaVinci stuff, and just kind of 30,000 feet looks at OBS, 30,000 feet looks at DaVinci. But as we go on, we will begin to dig more, and you guys will be doing more projects, and we'll be watching your projects. All right. Any last questions? All right. Any prayer? Okay. All right. So then I'm looking at the comments. I don't see anything. So, all right, we're going to close out. Lord God, thank you for another incredible day. I ask every student that is in here for you to cover their mind, grow their spirit, bless their soul. We give you glory, Father, in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. I love you guys, and I will see you next week. No homework this week other than to play in DaVinci, get very, very familiar with it, upload some videos into it, start working on just your own projects in DaVinci, make your own home videos in DaVinci, and start becoming familiar with DaVinci. Okay. All righty. And hopefully by next week, fingers crossed, we'll have our new platform up, which means you'll have modules and all of that good stuff as well. All right. So glad everybody's here. So glad Jonah and May, our newest students, are locked in and that they are here. I pray you guys are getting incredible, tremendous, unbelievably amazing value out of the class. All right, in November will be here before you know it, and we'll all be graduating. So make sure you're on it. Grades will be updated the minute we transition. I know we're waiting on grades. Thank you once again for your patience. Once we transition to the new platform, all of the grades will be in. All right, bless you guys, and I will see you next week. Go ahead and open DaVinci Resolve. Make you start building some new projects. If you have projects in it already, add to them. If you don't have projects in it already, start building in them. All right. God bless you. Continue learning. Always learn. Be a forever student, and you'll be a forever grower. Talk to you soon.
Welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence, or GSE. If this is your first time here, I want to say two things right away. First, you're in the right place. Second, you're not just joining a class, you're joining a legacy. GSE has been delivering high-quality education for over 20 years, and our story didn't start in a classroom. It started in the real world, where deadlines are real, standards are high, and results are what matter. Our origins began as Nomega Film and Audio, rooted in the audio and video space, working in film production, commercial work, audio engineering, and scoring. We filmed TV commercials and engineered projects tied to major industry workflows, producing, recording, editing, mixing, and delivering professional results. This wasn't theory, it was work where excellence is essential. That's the DNA of GSE. From early on, we weren't just producing, we were teaching. We taught Virginia Commonwealth University students and partnered with the Entertainment Career Connections Institute to teach their Richmond students. Our school originally grew in Richmond, Virginia, focusing on audio and video engineering, training students to not just know about production, but to actually do it. In 2025, we officially transitioned to the Griffin School of Excellence, expanding our programs to fit the future. AI for business, food truck entrepreneurship, coding and development in Python, and continued strength in audio-video engineering. We have a great origin story filled with hard work and proven ability and a rich history, but we're not living in the past. We're building modern skills for today's economy with the same high standards that built the original school. Here's the big difference between GSE and most schools. Many graduates receive degrees and certifications but struggle on day one at their jobs. This costs companies time and money and can cost graduates opportunities. At GSE, we train differently. Our mission is simple. When you finish here, you are day one ready, not just having watched videos or read chapters. You can walk in on day one and actually perform. That's rare, valuable, and what makes your time here worth it. We believe in excellence, and we do not believe in selling paper. You don't come to GSE to buy a certification. You earn skills, confidence, and competence. The goal isn't to look qualified, it's to be qualified. Whether you're an entrepreneur, leveling up for a better job, or seeking to become more efficient and valuable, GSE is built for you. This school is about real-world outcomes. We don't just teach content, we train capability. Now, let's talk about where you are right now. Starting something new is exciting but can feel intimidating. New systems, new expectations, new skills. If you've been disappointed by education before, you might wonder, is this going to be different? Yes. This isn't just information, it's transformation through skill. You're about to build things, learn how systems work, and develop the competence that makes employers take you seriously. And makes you take yourself seriously. You didn't choose a place that's playing games. You chose a place built on excellence, legacy, and the future. So again, welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence. We're honored you're here. Take your time, learn the system, ask questions, do the work, and most importantly, believe again. With the right training, the right standard, and the right support, you're going to look back and realize this was the moment. You stopped hoping for change and started building it. Welcome to GSE, where excellence begins. Welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence, or GSE. If this is your first time here, I want to say two things right away. First, you're in the right place. Second, you're not just joining a class, you're joining a legacy. GSE has been delivering high-quality education for over 20 years, and our story didn't start in a classroom. It started in the real world, where deadlines are real, standards are high, and results are what matter. Our origins began as Nomega Film and Audio, rooted in the audio and video space, working in film production, commercial work, audio engineering, and scoring. We filmed TV commercials and engineered projects tied to major industry workflows, producing, recording, editing, mixing, and delivering professional results. This wasn't theory, it was work where excellence is essential. That's the DNA of GSE. From early on, we weren't just producing, we were teaching. We taught Virginia Commonwealth University students and partnered with the Entertainment Career Connections Institute to teach their Richmond students. Our school originally grew in Richmond, Virginia, focusing on audio and video engineering, training students to not just know about production, but to actually do it. In 2025, we officially transitioned to the Griffin School of Excellence, expanding our programs to fit the future. AI for business, food truck entrepreneurship, coding and development in Python, and continued strength in audio-video engineering. We have a great origin story filled with hard work and proven ability and a rich history, but we're not living in the past. We're building modern skills for today's economy with the same high standards that built the original school. Here's the big difference between GSE and most schools. Many graduates receive degrees and certifications but struggle on day one at their jobs. This costs companies time and money and can cost graduates opportunities. At GSE, we train differently. Our mission is simple. When you finish here, you are day one ready, not just having watched videos or read chapters. You can walk in on day one and actually perform. That's rare, valuable, and what makes your time here worth it. We believe in excellence, and we do not believe in selling paper. You don't come to GSE to buy a certification. You earn skills, confidence, and competence. The goal isn't to look qualified, it's to be qualified. Whether you're an entrepreneur, leveling up for a better job, or seeking to become more efficient and valuable, GSE is built for you. This school is about real-world outcomes. We don't just teach content, we train capability. Now, let's talk about where you are right now. Starting something new is exciting but can feel intimidating. New systems, new expectations, new skills. If you've been disappointed by education before, you might wonder, is this going to be different? Yes. This isn't just information, it's transformation through skill. You're about to build things, learn how systems work, and develop the competence that makes employers take you seriously. And makes you take yourself seriously. You didn't choose a place that's playing games. You chose a place built on excellence, legacy, and the future. So again, welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence. We're honored you're here. Take your time, learn the system, ask questions, do the work, and most importantly, believe again. With the right training, the right standard, and the right support, you're going to look back and realize this was the moment. You stopped hoping for change and started building it. Welcome to GSE, where excellence begins. Welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence, or GSE. If this is your first time here, I want to say two things right away. First, you're in the right place. Second, you're not just joining a class, you're joining a legacy. GSE has been delivering high-quality education for over 20 years, and our story didn't start in a classroom. It started in the real world, where deadlines are real, standards are high, and results are what matter. Our origins began as Nomega Film and Audio, rooted in the audio and video space, working in film production, commercial work, audio engineering, and scoring. We filmed TV commercials and engineered projects tied to major industry workflows, producing, recording, editing, mixing, and delivering professional results. This wasn't theory, it was work where excellence is essential. That's the DNA of GSE. From early on, we weren't just producing, we were teaching. We taught Virginia Commonwealth University students and partnered with the Entertainment Career Connections Institute to teach their Richmond students. Our school originally grew in Richmond, Virginia, focusing on audio and video engineering, training students to not just know about production, but to actually do it. In 2025, we officially transitioned to the Griffin School of Excellence, expanding our programs to fit the future. AI for business, food truck entrepreneurship, coding and development in Python, and continued strength in audio-video engineering. We have a great origin story filled with hard work and proven ability and a rich history, but we're not living in the past. We're building modern skills for today's economy with the same high standards that built the original school. Here's the big difference between GSE and most schools. Many graduates receive degrees and certifications but struggle on day one at their jobs. This costs companies time and money and can cost graduates opportunities. At GSE, we train differently. Our mission is simple. When you finish here, you are day one ready, not just having watched videos or read chapters. You can walk in on day one and actually perform. That's rare, valuable, and what makes your time here worth it. We believe in excellence, and we do not believe in selling paper. You don't come to GSE to buy a certification. You earn skills, confidence, and competence. The goal isn't to look